The tone of our last episode is going to be a little bit different than this one. We talk about how during this journey, these films fall into two different categories for the most part, surprising or disappointing. The most surprising rewatch for us, my first ever watch, this full length episode,
Same.
Dark Phoenix. Here's the thing, because Apocalypse broke people and because of when this movie, Dark Phoenix, released, this movie was so enjoyable for us. It caused us to go back and analyze what was going on during that time that this movie got crapped on. Because I think Dark Phoenix has 28% on Rotten Tomatoes, maybe the most misleading score I've ever seen in film, I think. Not that I think it's a masterpiece, but to us, this movie was like a 65%.
Yeah.
And it has 28%. In a lot of ways, Dark Phoenix is finally doing a ton of the stuff that we wanted to have happen. And I think a lot of our listeners that were on this journey with us felt the same way.
Yeah.
When they went back and watched it with an open mind, I don't think we're crazy.
Yeah, that was one of the fun moments for me because we went through this watch originally on Friends from Work Plus. It was like this is the one that I think I was most curious about to get other people's reaction, because you and I first, like, we independently came to this. Like, it wasn't as though we were watching it going like, this is kind of good, right? Like, we sat down. Neither of us had any reason to fake being into this movie.
Yes.
Obviously, we didn't do that for Apocalypse.
We didn't text because I wanted the bombshell to be, holy crap, Robbie, I enjoyed it.
Well, and I had been saying that I had seen the first part of this movie before and that I thought it was basically unwatchable. Maybe it was like me being, watching through this whole series. Maybe it was me knowing kind of what we had gotten and what we hadn't gotten. But yeah, like Apocalypse, I think last I saw has 40% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. And this is, 28? That's crazy.
I enjoyed my watch so much of this film that my wife and I shut it off, and I had to rack my brain for why it's not perceived very well. I know it's not a perfect movie. There are a few cheesy things. There are a few lines I would change, but I had to wrestle with what are those things. That's how much I enjoyed my watch. In so many ways, it was fun for me to finally see the X-Men on a team fighting an outside external force so that it wasn't always X-Men versus humans or X-Men versus each other as an inner conflict. It was fun to watch them team up, Age of Ultron style. I actually think it does a lot of the little things better too.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff looks better.
Yeah.
The music is a unique take. Some people don't like the Hans Zimmer thing, but it's a different take. It actually finally has some feel, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a different take. It's not a superhero theme, but it has a vibe. And a lot of these movies don't have vibes.
Yeah. And I kind of think that his take does work well with the vibe they were going for and the era they were going for. Like, I think that the 90s thing, because they were trying to do 90s in a way that wouldn't feel like, X-Men 97 90s, which is super kind of bombastic and colorful. And so I think that it was the right call to go really moody with it. And I don't know, like, I think that aesthetic works for me generally, but this is the only time that we get to see a full X-Men team fighting kind of like an Avengers, like you're saying, like, because I again, X2 for me is up there, is my favorite X-Men movie still, but that is like you're not ever really getting that, okay, here's all of the X-Men together fighting on this unified front. You're getting like, here's Logan going over here, and here's Mystique breaking in, and Magneto's with them, and then Jean discovers Scott, like, which is great. That's nothing bad or good about either approach. But I do like, there are some scenes here where, like, the Cyclops stuff we get more of, and it's good. I think the Jean stuff is way better than
Jean
X3.
Is so much better. This is peak young Jean.
Oh, yeah, and way better than Apocalypse. She was, I thought...
so bad in Apocalypse.
Yeah, which is so weird. But man, I think
we also get to see the X-Men being a team actually for the government, getting medals from the president is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because that's what so much of the comics are.
Like, they are heroes. Like, they're a hero
Correct.
team. And I mean, we haven't talked about this yet, but this is kind of when we have to say it. It's the first movie of the reset timeline to get rid of Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh boy, here we go.
Who is not good in these movies.
She's not good. Our listeners know that from my perspective, she's not. However, Days of Future Past and here are actually some of her most convincing roles. I found her death in this movie to actually be moving.
Yeah. For sure.
Back to you, Tim.
This is her at her best. Thanks, Cotton. But I think that it's just
her at her best in the X-Men universe, not as an actress.
No, for sure. But I think like Days of Future Past, I really like how they brought, like they were trying to merge the timelines, which is another reason why there's such an argument to be made for ending the series there. But the version of Mystique that kind of looks more like Rebecca Romijn, but it's Jennifer Lawrence, is just cool and sleek and like, but I think then it weirdly takes another step back in Apocalypse and is as bad as it's ever been. And then here it pops back up again and it's like, oh yeah, this is there. Now there are still lines that.
For sure, it's the X-Women.
But this is both her best performance and also like, I think you feel a difference when they're not. It's not. This is, by the way, not even just a Jennifer Lawrence like hot take thing. This is Mystique is not a core X-Men, like not a core X-Man or X-Men character, like
X-Woman.
That's the problem. But I think the whole issue was they started like they thought it would be interesting to get some more time with Mystique.
Yes.
They went back with Jennifer Lawrence and then
because of the Hunger Games. Yes.
Yep. Then she takes off and now she's the biggest actor attached to the franchise.
So we might as well lean into that.
Yeah. But that just doesn't make any sense story-wise.
For that character.
That is a character that the whole draw, her name is Mystique. The whole draw is that she's like this mysterious, you don't really know who she is or what her allegiance is.
He's right, people.
So when you make her into like the team leader, that's so weird.
I don't know why we're ranting about it on this episode because Robbie, we liked her here more than other places, but yes, you're right.
I know.
It's probably past time that we talk about that. Look, here's what I want to say again. This movie has 28% Rotten Tomatoes. I really would love you to go back. I'm challenging you, listener out there, go back and watch it again with an open mind, because I think that score is unfair. It is a score that's been review bombed. Mm-hmm. It's a film that came out during a really weird cultural moment that led people to hate movies like this. It came out after Apocalypse, which was a huge misstep. And I think people had checked out. It also came out while the MCU was just dominating.
Oh, yeah.
And so there were people like myself, honestly, that were even kind of not against it, but kind of like, I'm not going to go see that garbage because I got the MCU right now. Yeah. And in reality, it's actually pretty decent. Give it a fair shake. Let us know what you think. Again, our full episode is us going over this for over an hour. And it's maybe our favorite episode we've recorded in 2024. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because of how genuinely shocked we were about this film. So go listen to that episode right now, wherever you get your podcast. It's called Friends from Work. Friends from Work does X-Men Dark Phoenix. Check it.